Hello everyone, I'm Veronique and I'm with a new video of COV International. So today I'm going to speak about the subject of supply chains. Um, the subject is really focused on the current situations based on the traveling situation when we're speaking about the past COVID-19 and also when you travel from border to border, zone green, red, and amber in the eastward world. So basically, it's where you're coming from. So from this this key that I just said is impacting the supply chains. There's some country like, for example, Europe countries like a number of country, but not all of it. So France is into it. There's other country where it's a number. India is red. So if you planning to do the transportations, there are so many countries where they make an importation exportation to certain country that probably will make impacting the transportations and also to pass the borders with all the data document that need to be settled. The supply chains, as to be honest, during the COVID-19 has been really be impacting, and the transportations is not running as it has to be. For example, if I'm taking the case of if you're looking, for example, in Africa situations, we have really less COVID-19 level in Africa, in the globality of the continent and itself. There's a very low, and there's even some country in Africa that do not have like a COVID-19. But for some exportation, importation, there are some of them come from Africa and Europe, like so the other exportation for those companies who are, I would say, the globality. The impacting of zone red, green, and amber actually impacting the supply chains. Mostly, there are some of organizations who are seeing their work at home. There are some of them they work in office, but in terms of collaborations between collaborator, like they used to, for example, you have like a meeting for the collaborations for a new contract. So some of the best they require the other collaborator to attend to meet you physically. Sometimes it attempts you to for the business. You attempt them to visit. Sometimes the manufacturer, see the project physically, touch it, look the equipment, the materials. For those, for example, for new contract, you has to see how the company can produce the materials and see that if the quality standard is met and the contract can be signed. That's how it has, and they also have to list the different the item, the monthly, everything is into that contract basically. Now for the big cost for the big clients, it's also the same process. Now as the COVID-19 is impacting many business, now it's opening, but if you mainly have international outsourcings, outsourcing materials, outsourcing goods, outsourcing customer, outsourcing new contract, you will be challenging that way. So the COVID-19 is really impacting the supply chains. Like when, for example, I give an example, like I see I'm going to the store and I check out, there are some item that is not there no more. There's some stores do not have like the store full. There are some of them, but there's some materials that some item that is not there anymore because the COVID-19 has been like restricts a lot of things. Now the question, because we keep speaking about the COVID-19, there are some countries who say it's fine, but if you look in France, they say they pass COVID-19 for traveling. It's also required for driver to have this pass. If France doing that, UK doing that, and that pass is easily for travel for the driver, for the collaborator who wants to travel, they will have to have the pass. So I believe there's a need to add some alternative way for no close shut out the door to business for people, for letting running the business, letting running the economic of the world, because doing that is actually break down the economy of the world, and in my opinion it is not wise to attempt to do that. The question is behind what I'm going to say, what is behind this mind of forcing professionals, especially in France, to have the pass in order to go to work. They are now, some of them work at home. What is the main key to make them having the pass? You can do PCR test to find out if they have the COVID-19. It's not just a reason to say it. It's to reduce, eliminate the COVID-19. But I'm talking now about business, economic, to run the country. Obviously, you have to save life, but there's also other alternative way to do things instead of break down the economic for, say, it's according to the economy, is according to save life. They, for example, I mean, in the UK, there are some professional work at home, and some professional go at work, get the mask. Some of them do not have the mask no more. So these are some restrictions that the government stopped, and then they wanted to force people now to wearing the mask. So, and then in France, it's a bit like, for me, it's a dictature, because it's like forcing the people to get vaccinated. If you don't get vaccinated, you cannot go for work. And this impacting the transportation, this impacting the supply chain, this impacting many other organizations that fit into the supply chain. In my opinion, this is not wise. Now we have to think about after the COVID-19, because the sickness, when you have like a lot of sickness, the sickness, you always seeking to basically to get better, like heal from it. So you get out of it, like you have a lot of medicine put into place. You have what else? So you have like you meet the doctor. You have to follow certain step to get better. So in this case, with the COVID-19 situations, if we want, because for me, this disease, this virus, cannot stop the life of, like, carry on the world functions. And if there are some say that the restrictions is coming better, there are some countries imposed to have the pass. I think, in my opinion, we need to think after, like we need to anticipate after how we gonna the life is gonna come back. How we gonna do the things that we used to, because in terms of transportation, in terms of order, in terms of planning, in terms of collaboration, things is going to start, like going to be a huge, I'm going to say, a huge conjunctions of scheduling back and improving the step and employing people, reback the economy, reback the social life, reback people to use to go to work, reback to anyone to do that what they are used to do. You need to it's like we have to re-educate how we used to live, and also we used to re-educate our life to make things done in the busy life, in the normally, without imagine without having the COVID-19 no more. And remember how your life used to be like. The life that used to be, people have scheduling. How I have this to do. I have the planning in the morning. I have the planning in the afternoon. I have planning in the night. So it was a busy night, busy day, and everyone was just busy in doing things. Now with the COVID-19, there's a different way of living. There's really different things of living according to what the COVID-19 has put into place. So now that if we want the worldwide economic, worldwide socialities, worldwide travel, worldwide employment, worldwide re-education, worldwide social life, worldwide environment, worldwide everything, starting back to thinking back of how we're gonna live, getting better about everything. I'm talking about this regarding the supply chains, because it's impacting. It's impacting the transportations. It's impacting some driver to know pass some borders, because there are some restrictions to some country who decide to leave the EU. For example, UK decide to leave the EU. So we know this story from since 2015, and it's recently hand. So it's impacting a lot of things. The trade internationals between certain country in America, USA, and everything. We see clearly things that has been impacting COVID-19. The government has been changing to protect the nations, but the nation also are sourcing all the materials in all the country, and that even have the citizen living in that town, the nation. So there's a lot of things involved. You cannot just changing for because the virus has been changing the life. Like people, business people so have been trying to protect themselves regarding the problem that we have with the virus. The virus is not something that is going to be for long, for permanent. Even if it has been taken for long, it's not something that is going to last forever. So as something is not gonna last forever, that we have researcher, we have doctor, we have nurse, we have scientific, we have all these people who actually improving and actually put into place the vaccine. This is my opinion. There are some people didn't want to get vaccinated. For me, I believe in vaccine in science. So I believe in all these things. So I'm talking. We must consider it also the other voice of other nations. So you cannot force other people to do something because the country has like some interest regarding the situation and everything. So you cannot do that. You cannot force someone to do things. You cannot force the nations to do something because you have like your plan. Like every nation has its story. You need to think about it. You cannot force certain nations to do things. So this is my opinion. I've done the vaccination. I believe in science. I believe all these things. So but I'm going to be focused on the case on himself. Like my question is we need to think back. Like we need to get him preparing. You need to, for example, like the habits, like when you go to office, you know that you have this portfolio, you need to contact this collaborator. Now there's so many work at home. Working at home is not good for all because we in supply chain we have to, so we're not working only with robots, we really working with human being. So as a human being you have to think for the well-being, the health, the life of the person. This is how life has to be because it's something, the situation has been so long. Like we need to think for the well-being and of the nation, and considering that the fact that let people in all the time, it is not good. Let force people to get in the past, it is not good. Changing everything according to certain things. Like so for me it's like a, I would say like the situation for me is like don't worry about here. There's some constructions here. It's a common. So it is like see the teeny picture. It's not a broady picture. As I said yesterday, through a video that I said it's like I speaking about the blind spots. So there are some of them in the government that just focus on the comes like this. They face like you say hello, they say hi, and they turn the hair like this. Hi, or they just say hi, but they are not like flexible, like like look around. Yeah, like yeah. You cannot do that. You can't. So this is a very teeny mind step. Like this mind, the strategy analysis has not been made clearly and properly because you frustrate the nations, you frustrate the people that is involved for doing the job, you frustrate the nations, you frustrate everything. Is when this is an impact. This is according to the supply chains. Like either in the supply chain, we're speaking about collaborations, speaking about communications, we're speaking about negotiations, we're speaking about the well-being, we're speaking about all these things. Either this is the people you touch professional, and those professionals are also working in such area. So I must have to mention that you need to think of the future. You need to think of how to prepare ourselves to live back. Start even now. like the government need to find out how to prepare, how to get us used to live the way we used to, enable better, preparing new people, preparing students, prepare professional, prepare employees, like prepare us to back to life like we used to, like without the virus. We need to think of living without the virus, even if the virus is there, by following the restriction, of course, but living without the virus. Like start to think like that in order to. It's not a term of mentally, like say I'm thinking like that, so it's something that is going to be better to the person. No, it's something that is actually something in a bit, but it has been installed some ruler that preparing the people to get ready for taking life like better. So there's a lot of people who like this stage of life has been having challenged a lot due to COVID-19. COVID-19 doesn't make the person be that. COVID-19 is a temporary situation that is already resolved. In terms of the supply chains, it's really important to um, I'm speaking about the supply chains because the supply chains is not involve just truck, not involve just car, not involve just electronic stuff, not involve just it's involving people. We speak about people. I'm speaking about people because there's a people. Without people, obviously we have technology today. Can get the driver can drive a lot. There's automatic electronic things that, but without people, nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. So the supply chain that I'm talking today, it's back to life. Like you need to back to life. You need to thinking of the economy. You need to think of the well-being. You need to think of the environment. You need to think of the sociality. You need to think of fresh air. You need to think of everything that we used to do and ever something better. So this is what I'm going to. This is the topic of today. We're speaking about many topics. I start with the supply chain. I speak about sociality. I speak about living. I speaking about um, environment. I speaking about right of people. I speaking about country, international, red country and green country. I speak about a lot of things that is summarized into this video. It's really to encourage and also let the nations to feel like that, oh, we're still alive, we can live, we're still alive, we can start either to live, to thinking back. And also I say if you start now to speak in a way like it's going to be a day, it's going to be a month, it's going to be forever. I'm going to be focused on the subject today, so supply chain. The supply chain about everything that I've been said. So how this can be improved and how we can already start to live without the virus. We can think of the future instead of just thinking of now, like just now, like just push thinking people we're going we never be healed, like it's going to be a sickness forever. So no, it's not something that's going to see. It's going to be there forever. There's solutions for everything. So in this case, I'm gonna end the video and I'm just get some fresh air. You know, this is what we need. We need like oxygen. We need oxygen. We need something new, like living things back. That's what we need. So thank you very much for your listening, and then see you later for the next video as well, or the next edit that I'm going to add on Facebook. Mainly at the moment is really focused on France situations, and also add some reference from the society because I don't want to lose the goal of the society. But based on the case, I must add situation in France and other things that is going to be updated into it. So that's all I'm going to say today, and then I wish you a good day, and then have a good day. Bye.